Today is day 54 of the podcast, and just like the first rock at Horeb introduces Israel to God as their source of provision for their hunger and their thirst. The second place and time where we have this illustration of a rock releasing water, this is at Kadesh. It's at a different location on Israel's wilderness journey. It's located just prior to and in front of the Promised Land, the place of crossing the Jordan. So to leave the wilderness and to go in and possess all that God has in mind for them, the issue becomes a point of dependence, where initially at Horeb, it's introduction to provision. Now it is a question of whether or not Israel will become fully reliant, dependent on God's word, his instruction, and the ways that he's introducing to them so that they can fully possess all that God had in mind. This complete dependence on the Lord, on his word and on his ways, it's not just for their personal sake. This is going to determine how Israel goes in and begins to have the power, the authority, and the ability to maintain and possess, overcoming the enemy in the Promised Land. So this time at Kadesh, this giving over and being separated to God's holiness, but also to only functioning as they go into the land, fully dependent and overcoming by God's power. This is a transfer of trust. Now, the first time Israel came up to this and went in and spied out the Promised Land, they came back thinking that they would possess it by their own strength, and they saw themselves as grasshoppers. To go in this next time, it's going to be transferring all of their life and dependence to the Lord in order to overcome. So this is to be the place where we offer ourselves to the Lord completely. It's not just him in me providing for me, but this is to begin to learn the other way of abiding, me in him, me setting aside my self-life in order to fully walk from this time forward in the life and the power of the Spirit, and to possess him fully as my life. Then we're ready to understand the Promised Land and what the kingdom is all about and how that becomes what we live and move in here and now. So here's the question. Are you more likely to live in complete dependence on the Lord, on his will and his word, when you feel strong or when you feel weak?